Welcome back to the channel, everyone. It's been quite a while since I've done a discussion, so I figured I may as well do one here right now. There's been a big discussion I have talked about on my streams, if you've been paying attention to them, but I'm here to dwell it all in to a big video here tonight. Me talking about there are either A, too many factions in WWE, B, WWE has this nasty habit of just adding people randomly into these factions, whether if they fit in the faction or not. And this is becoming, at least in my opinion, becoming a bit of a problem. This is becoming quite a bit of a problem, and I personally wish WWE would stop doing it. There are way too many factions in WWE today, and I feel like there's just too many factions. There's too many factions, and especially with NXT, it feels like they just add people just for the sake of giving them TV time. Let's talk about Chase University. It originally started off as just Andre Chase, Bodie, I think that's how you say his name, and Thea Hale. But Bodie got released. And then Duke Hudson eventually joined in. And then they added Riley Osborne, and now they've added Ridge Holland. I mean, I can understand maybe Riley Osborne fitting in, but why Ridge Holland? Like, I don't get why Ridge Holland needs to be there. Like I said, I get Thea Hale being there, because she's been there since the start. Duke Hudson, maybe I can understand being there. He's nailing the character very well. Riley Osborne, the reason they included him, at least from what I can understand, is that Thea Hale thought he was handsome. So she wanted him in the group because she was attracted to him. And then Ridge Holland came into the group, which people seem to think people told me Thea Hale was kind of the one that wanted him in there. Because Ridge Holland compared Thea Hale to his daughter. So apparently that's why he's there. Because he compared Thea Hale to his daughter. And all that stuff. But, in my opinion, Ridge does not fit in. He doesn't fit in. He just doesn't look like that kind of guy that would be wanting to do education. He doesn't look like the educational type person, in my opinion. Technically, there was a 7th member in Chase University, but was never official. That was JC Jane. She was technically a part of Chase University, though it only lasted for about a week or so. She was technically a part of them, just not an official member. You know, she was helping them, try to revive Chase University, get their wealth back, and she helped them get their wealth back, and then she kicked them to the curb and called them all losers. So she was technically the overall 7th person in Chase U, if you include Bodie, even though he got released. But technically, this one faction technically had 7 people in it. Technically had 7 people. 2 are not there anymore because one got released and JCJ pissed off. But technically there was 7 people all in this one faction. That is way too many. That is way too many. I get adding, the Hurt Business had 4 people of MVP, Cedric, Shelton, and Bobby. They had 4. I say 4 is the maximum amount of people that should be in a faction. In my opinion, 4 should be the max. Not 7, not 5, not 6. I think 4 should be the maximum. Or at least 3. 3 or 4 should be the maximum amount of people you have in these groups. But it gets worse. We've got Drew Gulak's faction. You know, it was originally Gulak, Damon Kemp, Charlie Dempsey, and Miles Bourne, I think his name is. That was 4. 2 of them got released. They added another guy. Don't know his name. They added another guy. And now all of a sudden they're going to add Ren Sinclair to the group. But why Ren Sinclair? Why her? Why her of all people? Like, why her of all people? It's weird. It's weird to me. I'm like, why her of all people? I feel like WWE only includes people in these factions just to give them something to do. Oh, like, if they're not in a faction, they won't be on TV. So, oh, we gotta give these people something to do. And all that stuff. Like, to me, it makes no sense. To me, it really makes no sense for Ren Sinclair to join Drew Gulak's group, which is called New Quarter Catch Crew. New Quarter Catch Crew. I think that's their name. Whatever, I don't care enough to know. But now JC Jane's kind of building her own faction. She's got herself. Jasmine, I think that's how you say her name. Just spelt weirdly. And Fallon Henley. She's now building her own faction. She's now building her own faction. She's now kind of building her own faction, you know, against rookies. You've got the Metaphor, which thankfully they haven't added anyone, but you get it. Metaphor. You got Metaphor. Like, NXT isn't the only place that has a problem with just randomly adding people to factions. Let's go to the main roster. We've got Damage Control. We have Damage Control, who was just originally Bayley, Io, and Dakota, and that was fine. That was fine. That was 3 people. That was fine. But then during Io's reign, they added 2 more people, that being Asuka and Kairi. Now, Kairi maybe makes sense, but to me, Asuka does not fit. To me, Asuka does not fit in Damage Control. I felt she only joined because of the War Games match. But no, she became an official member of the group. And to me, I feel it was very out of place. Asuka should not be in a faction. Especially being bossed around by somebody. Like, Asuka shouldn't be being bossed around by other people. She's supposed to be a badass and she's taking orders from someone? Makes no sense to me. Like I said, Kairi maybe. Kairi maybe I can understand, because remember, Io brought her back. Storyline-wise. Storyline-wise, Io brought her in to Damage Control. So I feel Kairi makes sense, but Asuka, no. But all I'm saying is, it went from being 3 to now 5. Now down to 4, because Bayley's not there. You got the Judgment Day, who was just originally Edge, Damian, and Rhea. Edge got booted, Finn got slotted in. It was just those 3. But then eventually JD McDonough got added. They added JD McDonough, because at least with JD McDonough, they actually went through a storyline for him to join. So, I can let him slide. But the 2 people I can't let slide are R-Truth and Carlito. Why is Carlito in the Judgment Day? Why is Carlito in the Judgment Day? He doesn't look like a dark, mythical, mysterious... He doesn't look like a kind of guy that fits in a dark, creepy, supposed to be character. Because, you know, Judgment Day was supposed to be like a dark, mysterious group. But Carlito doesn't fit in the Judgment Day. I don't care how funny he is. Because all I keep hearing people saying is, oh, Carlito's funny with his one-liners. So? Oh, he says something's cool or something's not cool, and all of a sudden that makes him worthy of being in the Judgment Day? Then that means R-Truth should be in the group. That means R-Truth should have been guaranteed a spot in the Judgment Day because of how funny he's supposed to be. But I digress. But I digress. Carlito doesn't fit in the Judgment Day. Neither did R-Truth. Sami Zayn, though I didn't like him being in the Bloodline, at least him being there served a purpose for the Bloodline storyline, which is unfortunately never gonna bloody end. And the Bloodline, we've got so many people in that faction now. We've got 4. We've got 4 people in there now. Now 4 is the maximum amount, which I said is the perfect amount, but the Bloodline technically, you count Roman, you count the Usos, you count Solo, you count Sami, that's 5, the Tongas, which is 7, and Jacob Fatu, that is 8. If you include everybody that's been in every single person that's been in Bloodline, that's a total of 8 people. That's a total of 8 people. If you can include everyone that's been in the group. Brawling Brutes was fine. They had 3 people, which was Sheamus, Pete Dunne, and Ridge Holland. They were fine. They didn't chuck Becky Lynch in there because, oh, she's an Irish girl, or they didn't chuck Lyra Valkyria in there like, oh, she's Irish, or she's got a British background, or they didn't add any female who had a British background. You know what I mean? Even though 2 of them were Poms and 1 was Irish. And 1 is Irish. And at least they didn't add more people to Imperium. They didn't add more people to Imperium. Imperium's pretty much dead. Even the Imperium's pretty much no more. Because Giovanni's on his own, Ludwig's a singles guy, Gunther's a singles competitor. Technically, Imperium's no more. And now they're making more factions with Sonya Deville and Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stinks. You know, they're adding more factions. This company has an obsession with factions. And apparently that is the only way they can get people on TV. The LWO, I've got no problem with the LWO. Sure, there may be about 5 people in there. Cruz del Toro, Whacking Wild, Rey Mysterio, Dragon Lee, and Zelina Vega. Even though I said 4 is the maximum amount. That's fine. They originally had like 5 people, I think. They added Carlito as well, which boosted them up to 6. And all that. But I'm okay with LWO. I'm fine with LWO. I'm fine with them. Legado is fine, they've got 4 people. Legado's fine, they've got 4 people, which is Santos, Los Lotharios, and Elektra Lopez. But the point that I am making is that WWE has this big obsession with so many factions, and they just decide to if they've got nothing planned for you, the Wyatt 6, you've now got the Wyatt 6, you've now got the Wyatt 6, you had the Alpha Academy, which in my opinion Akira Tozawa shouldn't even been added in that group. They just threw him in there with no explanation. You can't tell me there was an explanation to why. You can't tell me there was an explanation to why Akira Tozawa joined the Alpha Academy. There wasn't. He was just slotted in the faction with no story, with no rhyme or reason of being in there. I was okay with Gable, Otis, and Maxine. Gable's now making a new faction with the Creed brothers, and possibly Ivy Nile when she eventually joins. If she ever gets eventually added, which I think she probably will, because she's got to be the one to fight Nikki Cross, I'm assuming. But the point that I am making here is that WWE have a huge faction problem right now. And to me, I feel like they only do this to get people on TV. Being in a faction apparently is the only way to get people on TV. If that's the case, get Tegan Nox in a faction. So that way she's guaranteed to be on TV. It's stupid. WWE needs to cool off on their factions. They need to cool off on their factions. Because they're making way too many. And in my opinion, they're only creating them to get more people on TV. So, that's the end of this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts and opinion down below. And I will see you all in the next video.